being mortgaged according to Kenya Kwanza, and the public participation, all the process in it, we don't really have fine details of that. So I just wanted to pick up your brains, BILLOW KERROW. We wind up on it and go to other issues as well.
I think we are not discussing the merits of this concessioning of the ports. The government has, had done this many times before. You remember, almost 10 years ago, there was a similar arrangement where the government, in fact, invited tenders from several countries, including Dubai, on Mombasa port, and for one reason or the other, Singapore was involved, and I think there was a Dutch company, I remember, and it didn't go far. But the issue is not about the merits. The issue is the way the government does things. It's about accountability. We have a government that has ceased to be accountable to people. It's about transparency, as mentioned by my colleagues. It's about the integrity of of these issues that the government does. And it's not only this. Let me tell you an example. In concessioning, we have not done very well. We take the SGR. To date, Kenyans do not know what are the terms of agreement relating to SGR, and you've seen its performance, and in terms of its returns and so forth. We concessioned a few years ago the only oil refinery we had to Reliance of India, and the arrangement at the time was we were told they will put in hundreds of millions of dollars to revamp that thing. Nothing. Years later, they fleeced it and it was shut down. We concessioned Kenya Railways to an Egyptian company, you remember, a few years ago, and nothing came out of it. It was asset stripping. I mean, so we have not been successful. When you have this stonewalling about what the government is doing on major issues like this, then everyone has the right to be suspicious about the government's intent, and I think that is the concern in this case. That yes, the minister is not denying that there's something, but why do you have to do things, without, going through the due process and involve Kenyans so that we know what's going on, what are the benefits? Dubai World is a private entity. They're not going to, it's not a World Bank or IMF to give you free money, that you'll pay later. No, they're looking for profits. So what are the terms? What are we getting? Already this country is so highly indebted that Kenyans are living from hand to mouth. Where are our priorities? I mean, you want to take more? Is it going to be how are they going to finance? Is it an equity participation? Is it a loan? Is it a further debt you're going to give? What exactly is going to be involved? We have spent huge amounts of money in revamping Mombasa port. Lamu alone, we spent over 42 billion just putting up those berths and trying to get it, done for lapse. So Naivasha, you know how much we have spent, including the extension of the SGR. In Kisumu, we just spent billions in the last couple of years to try and get that port done. So when you get into a situation where you don't know what's going on, and you develop an entity, and then next year it is going to be concessioned out, and you don't know what are the terms of the concession, and a few years later you hear the deal. So I think it's about the accountability aspect of these things that Kenyans are concerned about. We have lost, there's trust deficit in government and in this government and on how we do things. I think that is the concern, and those are the issues that the government should, in my view, put on the table. Not the merits on whether everyone wants to see, you remember, Dubai, same Dubai port. More than 10-15 years ago, there were discussions about creating a free port in Mombasa. Today, the CS tells you, we want to turn Lamu port into the Dubai of Africa. Who tells you can do things, but you don't want to share? They have Kenya, KEPSA is there. There are institutions in this country, including the private sector and public. Why don't you discuss things openly? Where is the transparency? I think those are the concerns in this country, and from our history of the way things have been done, anyone would be worried about when you hear these kind of things.
Yeah.